heavy karma, karma close to death, habitual karma.
From the color of flame to reddish brown, to a combination of red and yellow.
Noticing peace emerged from the station of peace.
When our mind is peaceful, we can use not only the power of the brain, but we can use the power of the mind.
When you put it in, you should put it one on the left and one on the right, so it keeps on going.
Sawadee-ka. Hello and welcome to another edition of Meditation for All, a show which leaves you feeling spiritually centered and uplifted. I am Chananporn Rotjan and I'll be your host for today. Coming up on today's show, we will be joining Reverend Nicholas Thanisaro and he will be speaking about the law of karma. Reverend Somsak Piyasilo will be guiding us through our meditation. We also have another edition of Buddhist Culture. Then Nicholas Pascoa will be speaking to AJ Nikki. And lastly, we'll be joining Rose Mipan on this week's Cut and Craft. Firstly, on Meditation for All, Reverend Nicholas Thanisaro will continue his lesson on the law of karma and how our karma follows us into a new lifetime with different combinations of karma working together. With this information, we hope that you can have a clearer understanding of retribution and how it can make our lives better.
Someone has described these forms of karma like cars at the traffic lights. Normally, if the traffic lights are red, then you've got a queue of cars waiting to make a move as soon as the light turns green. And sometimes the habitual karma is not such a strong karma. It's like an old car which cannot accelerate very fast. But if it happens to be at the head of the queue, then maybe it's going to be the one which will give its fruit first, because the other karma cannot catch up with it, because it cannot overtake it immediately when the lights turn green. So sometimes you can't be sure which karma is going to give its fruit first. And the reality of life which we have is that we have a lot of karma in our past, both good or bad. But this karma is always trying to find the opportunity to give its retribution. It's fighting over which is going to give its retribution. Normally what happens is that if we're on a good run of karma, then it will be more good karma which comes to us. But if our luck changes and it starts to go onto a bad run of luck, then it tends to be all the negative karmas which we've done in the past which tend to give their results instead. So the practicality of life, when we don't know what good or bad things we have in our past, is that we try to keep ourselves on the positive side the whole time, so that even though we may have bad karma from our past, but it never gets the chance to give its fruit. Hopefully we get enlightened beforehand, and then it will never give its fruit. But I give a little bit more description of that because it deserves more explanation. When we pass away, our body breaks up. So how can our karma follow us to a new lifetime? What is there, or where is there for the karma to store itself in us, that we can take it with us, take this information with us, so it can influence us in another lifetime?
In the mind, yes. And even the mind is not permanent, but the mind carries on. It's like the black box of an aircraft which has crashed. Although the aircraft may be in pieces, but if they go through the wreckage, then eventually they find the black box, which is all the information of all the transactions which took place on the airplane before it crashed. In a similar way, we have a black box which stores up all the karma which pertains to us, not just from that life, but all the previous lives as well. And it's in a very deep part of the mind. It's in a part of the mind where normally we cannot interfere with it. And when we pass away, our minds will look for a new rebirth. But part of that in the mind is the storehouse or a bank of information about our karma, which will continue to give us influence in lifetimes to come. Normally we don't have the chance to rewrite any of this, okay? But if you ask why certain individuals can meditate, who meditate very well, are able to know about their previous lives and so on, it's because all of this information is there somewhere within our mind. It's just a question of being able to rewind the tape. Find the tape first and then you can rewind it. So it's stored there, and it's stored in a way that cannot be interfered with. This sort of information carries on to new lifetimes, and it affects our future. Because karma is new doesn't mean that it's going to give its influence later down the queue. But I talk about that more in a future lecture. But what I'd like to talk about now, so that's 4 forms of karma so far. Heavy karma, karma close to death, habitual karma, unintentional karma. These describe how heavy the karma is, on the proviso that normally the heavier the karma is, the more quickly it's going to give its result. Unfortunately, it's not, we cannot say that karma, one karmic action gives one karmic result. There's also the complication that karma can act together to give combined results. And if you want to turn over your page, you see a graph where you see there's a combination of different forms of karma working together. For example, you have a form of karma which is significant in your life. Here we call it the principal karma or jhana karma. The action of that may be modified by other supplementary forms of karma which you have in your makeup as well. For example, supposing a person has studied hard in many lifetimes. Every lifetime they are reborn, they will tend to do well in their studies. If that person had also, in their past, given scholarships for other people to have a better education, these 2 forms of karma may come together so that not only does that person do well in their studies, but they also get opportunities to get in a very good institute of education, and they'll become a real genius as a result. So 2 forms of karma give their results together so that this gives an even stronger result than normally would be expected by 1 form of karma alone. So this is a combination of karma in the same direction. Same thing could be negative. You can think of an example. The same thing can happen where instead of cooperating together, the forms of karma which come out may be opposed to one another. In which case it would be called obstructing karma. For example, a person may have been very stingy in a previous life. You know what stingy means? So as a result of this stinginess, when they are born in a family which is quite poor. Because they are poor, maybe he doesn't have a very good opportunity for a good education. But maybe this boy has been very helpful to others in their education before. So he was stingy with his money, but helpful to other people who are learning things. So the result of this is that even though his principal karma is one of stinginess, it'll probably go something more like this. Oh, I don't see it at all. Even though he's stingy, major karma, but he did help other people with their studies. He may be in a school which is disadvantaged, but he would meet up with a teacher who would give him special help and tuition so that he could keep up with the other children and maybe eventually get into a better school, okay, as a result of his performance. So this would be an example of mostly bad karma being helped out by a good karma which he had been done in the past. The full extent of the bad karma is obstructed by the good karma which he did. Sometimes the effect is stronger than that. A person may have some sort of karma which is so extreme that it terminates completely the effect of the opposing karma. For example, you ever heard of Angulimala? What can you tell me about Angulimala? Who was Angulimala? I don't hear much. Anguli means thumb or a finger. Mala means necklace. This is the name of a robber who collected the thumbs of his victim and wore them on a necklace around his neck. So this guy has a very heavy karma. To keep a long story short, he was basically a good guy, but because he did so well in school, people were jealous of him, and they persuaded the teacher to give this guy an impossible task so that they could be rid of him completely. So the teacher set him the task, his graduation task. If you can finish this task, then we will let you graduate, of going out and killing 1,000 people. So, very obedient to his teacher, he went out and did exactly that. He went around the countryside, hacking people down with a sword and collecting up their fingers as proof that he was getting close to his target of 1,000. And he created such havoc in the province where the Buddha was living that the king had to call out the army to track this guy down in order to kill him. Now then, there was one morning when the Buddha was meditating, as was his habit. And each morning the Buddha would meditate to try to find out who he could help the most by going and teaching them that day. And within his meditation, he saw Angulimala was going to be tempted to kill his own mother for the 1,000th thumb which he needed to go around his neck. What do we know about killing one's mother? Heavy karma.
Up next is Buddhist culture. This week's show is entitled The Unity of Difference, which will be teaching us about the early years of Buddhism and how it spread across the world, creating different styles and traditions. Ultimately, all of these traditions share the same goal, which is to attain nirvana and to end all sufferings.
The the unity of difference. Buddhist philosophy has kept pace with the changing times and adapted through different folk beliefs and native cultures. The external look has altered to suit its situation, circumstances, and prevailing beliefs. But Buddhism's main principles remain steadily rooted in their original foundation. All beings hope to awaken to the truth of eternity and enlightenment, having established themselves in the middle way. From the northern part of the Deccan Peninsula, Buddhism spread widely, covering almost the whole of the peninsula. In this early age, Buddhism's expansion rested only on its principle of attaining the absolute truth, to give hope to every life, regardless of differences in rank and status. The viable teachings of Buddhism offered a method for improving future lives and achieving advanced stages of reincarnation. And the crucial activity was to meditate right through the middle way. And the middle way begins inside us, at the center of the body. At the time of King Asoka the Great, Buddhism had extended its way downward to Ceylon or Sri Lanka. It initially settled at Anuradhapura, eventually spreading to almost the entire island. In Sri Lanka, while monks wrap themselves with robes coloured like the dawn, nuns are in pink, so different from the nuns of Southeast Asia, who dress in white. Yes, in pink or in white, it is only colour that distinguishes them from one another. The foundation of truth is still the same. Continuing like an ever-flowing stream, Buddhism coursed outwards and upwards, beyond the northern frontier of Deccan. From emperor to emperor, from dynasty to dynasty, from Asoka the Great of the Mauryan dynasty to Kanishka the Great, the Scythian emperor of the Kuchan dynasty, Buddhism continued to expand its influence widely and deeply. Buddhism reached Iran, or ancient Persia, Bactria, Kashmir, and Tibet. It was said that from the knot of the Pamir Plateau, Buddhism flooded out from the Gandhara, the seat of Buddhist civilization. Present-day Pakistan used to be the seat of Gandhara and the throne of Kanishka the Great. People and products travelled along the Silk Trade route, and finally, Buddhism made its way to China. Imagine the differences in folk beliefs and native cultures all along the way. The spread of Buddhism occurred across a myriad of temperatures, valleys, plains and plateaus, deserts and oases. Thus, the dress and diet of Buddhist monks could not maintain its conservative traditions. It changed and must adapt to suit the environment. It is one reason Buddhism had survived. The absolute principle is constant, but the practitioner must transform. Then, the colour and style of the monastic robes were modified. From the colour of flame to reddish brown, to a combination of red and yellow and also grey. They are all different, both in colour and style. But no matter what colour or styles appear, Buddhists are practicing the same truth, the practical philosophy of absolute truth, taught by the Lord Buddha, Buddhism. They all view the process of rising and falling. They all see the reflections of happiness briefly flicker here and there in the flow of troubles that defines the limitations of their existences. These are the reflections of the impermanent. Happiness cannot be stable or eternal in the flow of life. The variations in colours and styles of Buddhist monastic robes tell us that the world deserves real peace and happiness, and Buddhism offers an answer. It is the unity of difference. All take refuge in the absolute truth. The unity of difference tells us the world deserves the same peace.
Next, Reverend Somsak Piyasilo will be joining us for meditation. A show suitable for anyone at any level of meditation from beginner to advanced. With his invaluable information and tips, he can leave you feeling peaceful, relaxed, and mindful.
I am here in order to say that we are all the same. You might think it is a dream. You say we are different in colors, in languages, in tongues, and nationalities and so on. But in reality, we are all the same. Listen to me first. We are all the survivors in samsara, in the travel of darkness. We are all the same because all of us seek for true happiness. And actually, true happiness is one word, peace. We are all the same because we love to have peace, and welcome to the atmosphere of meditation. Meditation is the key, is the password to gain peace inside. And peace inside from an individual will create peace throughout the world. It is now the right time to meditate. Find your own seat that is most comfortable for yourself. And then once you are ready, let's share what we have the same together. Meditation will tell you how. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we close the eyes softly together. At each minutes and seconds in meditation, we are supposed to relax. Relax the whole body from head to heels. No single part of the body would remain stressed. We relax as if we get dipped into the stream of relaxation. We feel as if the whole body is so light. We weigh less and less in the feeling. Relax everywhere for the entire physical body. Take a few good deep breaths, deeper inside. Notice the end of the in-breath that exists in the center of the body. Or we can say it's in the middle of the stomach. This is technically termed the turning point because the in-breath ends here and turns to be the out-breath. The turning point is where the mind will rest here like forever. Rest the mind here. This is the place for peace. As we have learned, as I have told you, we are all the same. This is the point here, the turning point. It's the same for all. This is the place for peace of all of us. Now we all share the same place for peace. This is the station of peace for every human being. Every time we rest the mind at the station of peace, all of us would gain inner peace right away. This is to confirm that we all are the same. We hunger for peace. This is the same. And we receive peace over here. This is the place for peace, and this is the same for all. Now enjoy stilling the mind and welcoming peace that emerges from the station of peace quietly in tranquility together. This isn't difficult at all. Just allowing the mind here, we get peace right away. This is the sudden peace that is the same to everyone who practices the same. Now, noticing peace emerged from the station of peace. As we learned earlier, the shape of the mind is as round as a sphere. Well, the mind is now forming, revealing the shape of a sphere, and it starts to shine well, like the moon is shining in the middle of the dark sky. Well, the mind is now welcoming the shining moon, like in the middle of darkness. The moon in the mind is shining sweetly. Its silvery light is so sweet that everywhere gets so bright and soft and as sweet as the moon itself. So we welcome the bright sphere representing the bright moon. Enjoy this bright moment, this brilliant moment for a while further. In the teaching of Buddhism, especially in meditation, Lord Buddha teaches many people to be the same, to be free from greed, to be free from illusion, to be free from anger. And then everyone, after practicing meditation, all of them would be the same. That is the owner of the pure mind. But pure mind starts from bright mind. Now we enjoy our mind that is so bright as the moon in the mind is always shining on and on like forever. So remember, we might be different on the appearances. Each country could be different. Each person is always different. Nobody is the same. But Lord Buddha reveals the point of similarity, the point of no difference. And such point is now where we are meditating on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready, you confirm your station of peace with bright moon again by taking a deep breath. And the station of peace is always there, bright by the shining moon. This is the point of no difference. And we slowly count down from 3 to 0, confirming the turning point again. And we slowly open up. And congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, that amid differences all over the world, you have learned the point of no difference, which is the turning point, the center of the body by means of meditation. Hope you enjoy meditation further and further until we meet again next time. Have a good time and big progress in meditation. Sawadee and goodbye.
Next on Meditation for All, Nicholas Pascoa will be speaking to A.J. Nicky, who is an assistant professor of English at Thammasat University. The topic of discussion is the Competence Development Club. What is this club, you may ask? Watch next to find out.
Swadee Krap. Hello and welcome to another edition of Meditation for All. I am Nicholas Pascoe, your host for today. We are joined today by Wajana Suryatham, or A.J. Nicky as she is better known, who is an assistant professor of English at Thammasat University. As well as being a lecturer, she's also an advisor for the Competence Development Club. Swadee Krap, Ajahn Nicky.
Swadee Krap, Nicholas, and Swadee Krap, ท่านผู้ชม. Yes.
How are you?
Oh, good. Okay.
Good, I'm glad to hear it. So, tell us a bit about the Competence Development Club.
This club, it is a club to maximize the competence, as is the name, okay? And we have the slogan. The short one is, find your inner power with us.
Find your inner power with us.
Yes.
Right. So what exactly does a Competence Development Club do?
First thing, we focus on qualifications graduates should have, okay, before they apply for jobs, okay. Besides the academic knowledge, okay, they also need to be get public speaking, presenting projects, okay, leading activities, and working as a team, okay, or solving impromptu problems and entertaining people.
Entertaining people?
Yes.
In what way?
Like entertaining customers, right? Try to attract people interest, sort of like that.
I thought you meant like singing on stage and dancing in front of loads of people. Things like this.
Yeah, but youngsters love that, okay? So our activities also, are designed to let students practice these skills.
Right. Whilst having fun at the same time, I imagine?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And learning by doing activities.
Yeah.
Otherwise, learning in a classroom is very boring.
Yeah. Okay, and what are the main objectives of this club?
The main objectives, we have about many, okay. The first one is to create activities to prepare university students to become good graduates in both academic and the virtue, very important now in Thailand, okay. And the second one is to give students an opportunity to learn to work as a team, okay. And then we also provide students an opportunity again to find their inner power.
It sounds like a lot of extra hard work. What made you decide to do this?
It's a job as a teacher to find the most beautiful parts of the students and let them shine out.
I really admire your decision. Could you just tell us about the main activities in this group?
The main activities is very interesting. We have 3 steps. Okay, the first step is the training day. The training day is to promote students, okay, to try to arouse their interest to become as a part of this activity. And then the second one is the training camp. When they hear about the training day, okay, and they're interested in, so they apply for the training camp, okay. And then after that, we have the Grand Dama meeting. The Grand Dama meeting is a meeting where she's the big seminar about 500 or 1,200 students from 20 universities that will get together, okay, and we have a big seminar. And then they show their activities on stage.
You said something about a training day and a training camp. To me, like in the army, the same style.
Oh, no, no.
I think I'd be worried if I wanted to sign up.
Okay, that's what I think. Okay, most people always think like that, but this is totally different. It's a camp like relax and alert.
Okay. You also mentioned about helping the students find their inner power. How do you do this?
Okay, the youngsters need to keep their minds calm, okay? When our mind is peaceful, we can use not only the power of the brain, but we can use the power of the mind, okay? Right. And the only way to calm our mind is to meditate and to find out that it really works.
Definitely. I agree with you 100%. Besides this, are there any other activities that you do?
There are many activities, okay. For example, we have the campaign for Thai good values, and we also have journals, okay, and the food offering ceremony on special occasions. For example, New Year's Day, okay, the first day to welcome the new semester, and yoga for health and mind.
Yoga.
And we also have the academic tutoring.
Really?
So students who become a member of this club, okay, they will have no F.
Sounds like a mix of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Sounds like good fun.
Oh, yes, it is.
In case any students from Thammasat University are watching now, how could they get involved in joining up to a club like this?
We welcome every student, okay, to join our club. Just go to our Competence Development Club at Thammasat University, Franksit campus, okay. Just go to Asian Games Village and ask for it. Everyone knows it.
Okay, maybe I should check it out sometime.
Oh, please. You'll be our the important guest.
Oh, I don't think so, no. So how is this club beneficial to your students? I mean, what happens to them after they graduate, and does it help them to graduate and with their exams?
Oh yes, sure. Okay, not only the exams, okay, but they become better citizens
Really?
for the country. Yes.
So what kind of things, activities do they do after? I mean, do they still continue to help out in the club or come to visit?
Yes, yes, both. Okay, they still they are. Once you are the member, okay, you're the member forever.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and after that, they also join the team,
Right.
and they become volunteers. Okay, to do good things. For example, they come to the temple
Right.
to help the big bun,
Yeah.
the big ceremony, and they learn a lot.
So you encourage them about that and you tell them about the joys of making merit, if you will.
Yes, yes. Okay, so they can practice, okay, and develop their competence all the time. Okay,
Right.
not only okay they get once, okay, and then they stop it. Like languages, okay, if they practice with us, and then once they stop, they never practice again. So it's like a knife. It's
Yeah.
become blunt, right? If we don't use it.
Yeah, I think maybe it also helps them to become good role models for the next generation, like maybe their children, their grandchildren.
That's great. That's what I want.
Yeah, be passed on. So I think it's a good club. I think it's a really good thing you're doing.
Thank you.
How do you actually encourage these students to become enthusiastic and want to join the club? Because obviously, I'm not sure about Thai students, but over in England, I'm not sure if they're really willing to really want to join anything extra. Because I mean, I've been a student before, and I didn't want to do anything else other than just study what I paid for. So how do you get them to
Okay.
come and want to make merit?
Oh, wow, this is a good question. I always tell my students that, okay, it is said that we use only 10 or 20% of our brain, okay? Can we imagine that if we use the rest of the 80%, okay? So what will we gain, okay, from that? So I tell my students that, okay, this is your age. Okay, you're young, energetic, okay, and dynamic. You have a lot of creative ideas, okay. So why don't we use it in a useful way, in a meaningful way, okay? That is good for you, good for our family, and good for our society too.
Definitely. I understand you're actually flying to London tomorrow
Yes.
to continue studying for your PhD. How does it feel to, from one day being a lecturer, and the next day to becoming a student again?
Oh, wow, I love that. I want to become the student again, okay? I always miss my time in the university. And if I always dream that I would become young again, okay? I wanted to study again. And then I would do so many things that I missed when I was studying in the university.
Yeah, I think it'll be different now because you'll be doing it in another country. So you get to experience a different culture as well.
Right. Especially the cold weather.
Yes. England's quite cold. I should warn you about it, really. But I think you'll like it there. It's quite nice. And seeing as you're going to London, please take me with you because I'm starting to miss my mum now. So, I'm out here all alone. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for now. Ajahn, Nikki, I'd like to thank you for the time you've spent to come here and talk to us.
Hey, you're welcome.
Wish you all the best of luck in the future with your studies, and I hope you achieve what you're looking for.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Say goodbye to our audience. now.
Okay.
Okay.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Last but not least, we'll be joining Rose Mipan in another edition of Cut and Craft. She'll be making floral garlands out of orchid petals with some friends. This skill task can help you to feel more mindful and to practice patience while having fun at the same time.
No matter which way my life turns, no matter easy or
ทีนี้
hard.
เรามาดูกล้วยไม้ที่เราทำนะคะ ส่วนนี้นะคะเฉพาะดอกนะคะจะได้ไม่งงว่าเอ๊ะกล้วยไม้เนี่ยมาทำอะไรได้หลายอย่าง
ค่ะ
นะคะแค่ดอกเดียวเนี่ยเราได้แบบพวงมาลัยได้ตั้ง3-4 อย่างอย่างนี้ยนะคะจะดอกของมันนะคะจะมีกลีบใหญ่2กลีบเล็ก1แล้วก็จะมีเขาเรียกตุ่มเกสร
ค่ะ
นะคะตรงเนี้ยจะมี3กลีบ
ค่ะ
เราจับยึดตรงนี้ไว้ส่วนนี้ก็
ดึง
เรา
ออ
ดึ
ก
งออกใช่ไหมคะ
แล้วก็แยก
แล้วดึงออกเนี่ยตรงนี้ก็คือทำส่วนนี้ก็คืออุบะใช่ไหม
ค่ะ
คะแล้วเสร็จแล้วส่วนนี้ก็คือก็ทำเป็นมาลายซีกนะคะเป็นมาลายซีกและที่เหลือเนี่ยป้าจะสอนตรงเนี้ย
ค่ะ
สอนตรงเนี้ยแล้วก็ตรงเนี้ยเป็นพวงมาลัยที่ง่ายมาก แล้วทุกคนทำได้หมดเลย เราก็เริ่มต้นนะคะ ก็คือจับตรงเนี้ยตั้งไว้นะคะแล้วก็ใช้แทงเข็มนะคะไปปลาย
ค่ะ
ปลายเนี่ยแล้วก็
ใส่เล
ใส่
ย
ไปเลยนะคะ แล้วก็ดอกที่สองก็เหมือนเคย แต่ให้สับหวางให้เบี่ยงไปนิดหนึ่ง
ค่ะ
อย่างเงี้ยค่ะสับไปเรื่อยๆอย่างเงี้ยค่ะ อันนี้ง่ายแล้วง่ายมากไปสอนน้องเล็กๆได้เลยเขาทำง่าย
ค่ะ As I said earlier, we're not going to throw anything away. We're going to use everything. So, when you started off with the orchid has 2 big petals, a small one, and the rest is for this. We're going to use this to make another garland. So, you separate it into 3 groups. So you have this one, the small one for the semicircle, and the big one for the circular. For this one, just put it right in. So when you put it in, you should put it one on the left and one on the right. So it keeps on going left, right, left, right, left, right. Never straight. And out. This is a very easy way. So you can take this and teach it to your little brothers and sisters. So you should make this tight. Once you put it in, you should push it down a little. Make it a little tight. So you're supposed to guess how much you're going to use. You're going to use this to make it circular like this, but you want to make it a little smaller.
เดี๋ยวต่อเนี่ยเอาของนกไอ้ของแก้วกับของโรสเอามารวมกันวางชิมถ้าเราจะใช้ได้นะคะ เราก็ต้องทบให้ได้สัก3 อันเพื่อไม่ให้มันขาด3 ทบนะคะ3 ทบกะระยะว่าได้1 พวง
ค่ะ
จะพวงใหญ่พวงเล็กแล้วแต่เรากะได้นี่เราเอาความก้างขนาดนี้เราก็ใช้ลวดนี่แหละช่วยในการ
ใช้สั่งเข้าไป
ใส่ทีละเส้นนะคะ
ค่ะ
ถ้า3 เส้นนี่หรือลวดขาดเนี่ยตัวนี้จะช่วยได้เยอะมากเลยบางทีผู้สูงอายุ100เนี่ยต้องใช้ตัวนี้ช่วย ตามองไม่ค่อยเห็น
So for this one, the string we use, we need 3 strands. Put all 3 through the hole. So when you got the string in, pull down the flowers gently.
เวลาลูดนะเวลาต่อนี่เราพยายามจับให้มันตรงเนียนให้มันแนบกันสนิท
ค่ะ
อย่างนี้นะคะเนี่ยเราก็จับตรงกลางให้มันตรงกันเนี่ยนะ
ค่ะ
สีเข้มเนี่ยมันจะตรงแล้วจะสวยนะคะนี่ก็จะได้แล้วก็มัดก็จะได้พวงมาลัยกล้วยไม้อีกแบบหนึ่ง
ค่ะ Okay. So when you got it all into one string, or 3, you can tie it up together and make it circular, like this one, just smaller. Now we're going to learn how to make the ubak for this one. For that one, we're going to be using the orchid and the base of a bud. After that, we're going to use doklak. Put in about 6 for this size. ทำประมาณกี่เส้นคะ
ก็ถ้าเล็กอย่างนี้ก็ประมาณ5 เส้น
5 เส้น
ดูดอกเล็กๆกันอย่างนี้
You're going to make about 5 of these. Put in the plastic string into the hole. Pull down the flowers gently
อันนี้มันขาดไปเอาดอกสวยๆ
all the way, and you got
คล้ายๆนวดรักไปได้ไหมเลยสวย
แล้วก็มัดพร้อมกันหมดเลย
แล้วก็มาพร้อมๆกันใช่ไหม
สวย
We
อะ
should do this for Mother's
ได้
Day.
สอนน้องก็ได้สอนน้องเล็ก
To cover the connection part, we're going to use an orchid and slide it through the string.
ๆได้1 พวงน่ะ
Now you've got a small garland. Isn't it cute? A very easy way to make it. Took about 5-10 นาทีประมาณ5 ถึง 5 to 10 minutes. So now you've got another garland. But for this one, once you're finished, all you have to do is spray water. But for the jasmine one, you have to spray water, put it in a plastic bag and in foam. นี่นะเสร็จ
เสร็จแล้ว
อันนึง
นี่ถ้าบอกวิธีเก็บหน่อยนะ
ค่ะ
ถ้าอย่างนี้กล้วยไม้เนี่ยก็จะใช้น้ำพรมแล้วก็วางนะคะ เสร็จแล้วมะลิเนี่ยเราต้องใส่ถุง
ค่ะ
แล้วก็ไม่ให้น้ำเข้าอะนะคะ แล้วก็ใส่ในโฟม เอาน้ำแข็งที่ปนๆรองพื้นก่อน
ค่ะ
แล้วก็ใช้พวงมาลัยที่ใส่ถุงแล้วเนี่ยลงไปแล้วก็ใช้น้ำแข็งป่นๆโรยหน้าอีกทีหนึงนะคะ แต่ถ้าหาน้ำแข็งไม่ได้จริงๆก็ใส่ตู้เย็นชั้น
ตู้
ผัก
เย็นชั้นผัก
ช่องผัก
So if you're using petals, like orchid petals and such, all you have to do is spray water and just let it stay, because it can stay for a long time. But if you use jasmine, you're going to have to put it in a plastic bag and in a foam box. But in the foam box, you need a layer of ice and put in the jasmine with the plastic bag. If you don't have a foam box with ice, you can always put it in the refrigerator in the vegetable section. So, thank you for watching our show. Hope you liked it. Hope you take the lesson that you learned today and use it. And join us next week. And we're going to be learning some great new crafts. And ขอบคุณเยาวเลศนะคะ ขอบคุณเปอร์เยาวเลศ Thank you, Crystal, for coming on the show again. And thank you guys for watching very much. Hope you like the show. สวัสดีค่ะ
Stand strong and fight on, 'cause we are kissed of the world, can make a brighter day for all. So believe in yourself and fight on. Yeah.
That's all for now. We hope you join us again next week. Until then, remember to keep your mind centered at all times. สวัสดีค่ะ